morning. You're watching Market Fatafat right here on ET. Now I'm Mubina Kapasi. Markets looking steady, trying to rebound after yesterday's fall. It's a 34% higher for the Nifty. Sensex just about 100-point gain seen over there. But the broader markets are yet again underperforming the benchmarks. Auto sector is once again the biggest loser sectorally at this point of time. But the show is, of course, all about the big movers and shakers. So let's get straight to that. We have with us Soumya Sharma, as always, our in-house research analyst. And today we are joined by Kunal Bothra on the technicals and additionally Swati Hotkar of Nirmal Bang. So good morning to all of you. Thanks for joining in. And let's kickstart the show with the big Nifty gainer and the Nifty metal gainer. And that's Tata Steel. Strong fourth quarter. European business managed to show real momentum with the EBITDA as well, managing to beat street expectations through and through. Additionally, of course, is that merger with Tata Steel BSL. I think it was just a matter of time that it's come through, and hence you are seeing Tata Steel BSL as well locked in upper circuit right from the word go. There's that fire at Port Talbot, the news of which broke early in the morning, but Tata Steel has said that the fire is in control and mercifully there are no injuries. So that's a relief over there. Most brokerages as well have maintained a buy stance post the Q4 numbers, and look at the way the stock is rallying. Finally, more than a 6% gain seen in this one. Here's another Tata stock that Kunal is flagging off in its TCS. Kunal, the stock has really been moving steadily for the last couple of sessions. Today as well, it's up by 0.9%. Your view?
So yes, I think post results, there was a strong breakout in the stock price from 2100 levels. It's just about rallied quite viciously. So in the last 1 week, the stock has climbed up almost 120, 130 rupees post that breakout. But I believe now at current levels, where the stock is on the verge of testing its life high at 2275 levels, I think there could be chance you might see some bit of profit booking on the stock price at current levels. So I think it's advisable to book out part profits on TCS at current levels. Wait for marginal dips. I think even if the stock comes back, say 60-70 rupees dip, I think that could be a good re-entry point for TCS.
All right, that's TCS 0.9% higher. Soumya, we're seeing a result reaction in Axis Bank as well. Numbers pretty good over there.
Yes, Mubina, talking about first of the profits, they were below, but it was due to one-time provision on land parcel. However, the NIIs were pretty much in line with street expectations. Asset quality for the company improved. In fact, the NPAs fell for the fourth straight quarter. Talking about the slippages, they were lower on a sequential basis, while the recoveries reported by the company were higher on a quarterly basis. Provision coverage continued to improve consistently and continued for the last 8 quarters. The provision coverage has improved and stood at 77%. The NIMs reported by the company were stable, stood at 3.44% versus 3.47% compared to the last quarter. In fact, FY20 NIMs are stable and with an upward bias. So that's a key here. The margins are likely to improve from here on as well. I think overall the strong set of numbers. In fact, most of the brokerage firms are maintaining a buy stance on Axis Bank after its Q4 numbers.
Well, yeah, I think that asset quality improvement certainly is noteworthy. However, what's declining in trade and has been for some time, along with the rest of the auto names, is Maruti. Swati, your view here?
The overall view on the Maruti Rubina has been cautious at the current level. In past 6 to 7 trading sessions back, we have seen that the Maruti has tested almost its 200-day moving average, but it fails to give the breakout of the same. As of now, the overall auto pack is not really performing very well. The fact is that it's just trading below its 50 days moving average also. It might test that 6700, 6650 levels can be seen in the coming 2 to 3 trading session. So I believe one should just avoid this particular pack for a buying purpose. On the end, if it manages to give a breakout of 7000 levels, then only one can see for a fresh buying view. At the current level, just stay away from this counter. I believe that it can see the dips towards 6700 to 6650 levels.
Okay, Maruti, another day where it's declining and it's 1.5% lower. But today's blockbuster result has certainly come from GHCL. The chemicals and caustic soda maker has reported a revenue growth of 26%. Profit as well has jumped substantially by 44%, aided of course partially by the kind of margin expansion we have seen on the EBITDA level, which has come in at 26.3% versus 25.5%. For FY19 as well, it was a steady year with 16% revenue growth, EBITDA rising 21%, PBT rising 30%. So margin expansion seen on the whole fiscal as well. Of course, today is the conference call at 4 p.m. and some of the key things to watch out for will be the growth guidance for FY20, margin trajectory, as well as the new textile export product. So that's BSCL, unsurprisingly higher by 5%. Kunal, what's catching your eye in Ujjivan?
So, I discussed this stock I think a couple of days back when the stock was at 320, 322 levels, mentioning that the stock was at a very strong support zone. When you look at a stock price and the stock tends to test its strong support zone for 3-4 attempts, but if it bounces back, then that's a very strong support level. And for Ujjivan, that support is at 320 mark. So I believe the stock is now in the phase of some sort of a bounce back, and this bounce could last for another 10 to 12 rupees. So I'm raising my targets from earlier given levels of 332 to now 340 on Ujjivan. Would suggest a buy even at current levels, and stop loss for a fresh trade could be kept at 323.
Okay, by the way, just there on our side DV, you did see Narendra Modi filing his nomination papers officially for Varanasi for Battle 2019. So there you have it. Narendra Modi, accompanied by the top brass of BJP, is in Varanasi filing in his papers. On to the next stock in focus after Ujjivan, Yes Bank. Soumya, today is the date for the results. Soumya, what is the ET poll suggesting?
Well, what our expectations are concerned for the Q4 results, we expect NIIs to be up by over 27.3%. However, we expect lower fee income growth, PAT to be down by 11%. In fact, we also expect the NIMs to be under pressure and likely to dip by over 5 to 7 basis points on a sequential basis. Provisions are likely to increase, while gross NPA ratios would also see an increase compared to the last quarter. In fact, few analysts are expecting slippages to moderate on a quarterly basis. We expect the loan book growth to moderate by over 20 to 25% compared to the last year. Well, this may be due to high base effect. So there we can see a little bit of moderation in the loan book growth. As far as management comments are concerned, we believe that new MD and CEO, what is the growth strategy ahead? And of course, there were reports that the company is going for a rejig in the top management. So what's the plan out there? And comments on the NPA cleanup, credit cost guidance. So this is all what we'll be keenly watching out for today.
Alright, that's Yes Bank 0.7% higher. Swati, BPCL for the last couple of sessions has been showing green, and it's the real outperform among the other OMCs. At the day's high, your strategy here?
Yes, Fubina rightly said, from the last 3-4 trading sessions, we have seen that the stock is really performing very well. Also, the fact that it's just moving above its all the important moving averages, say 150 and 200 DMA, which indicates a very good sign as of now. Also, the important fact is that the stock has given the upward sloping trend lines breakouts, which indicates a very positive signs along with the volumes and the price momentum. So I believe this rally is likely to be extended towards at least 380 to 390 levels on the higher sides. So one can take a long positions above 360 at all levels. One can keep a stop loss of a 360. Upside, I believe that the 390 targets can be seen in coming 1 week.
Okay, BPCL 2.7% higher. Science has come out with its numbers, not that great as said. Revenue is down a little over 2%. Profits are higher by 90%, but that's because of a surge seen in other income, which has come in at 79 crores. So that's the only reason why the bottom line is showing such a big jump. But I think what may be supporting the stock price is the fact that the company has given a guidance for FY20 in the high single-digit, range, and that is something that's really optimistic, because analysts are saying that there may be some trouble in two verticals, aerospace as well as communications. We spoke to the management earlier, and he did say that it's not that troublesome, but nevertheless, the guidance is after considering the so-called troubles in those sectors. Science is higher by 1.4%, but it's at the day's low. Kunal, Chola Finance, what are you observing here?
So that stock, is one of the few names, in the financial services space, which has shown signs of weakness. But it came out after almost 2 or 3 weeks of consolidation. So generally the tendency is that maybe the stock is going through a mean reversion process, and the stock could drift lower. And when you look at it on the short-term charts, it's broken some key supports, and in fact that 1400 level, which is now a very strong support, has been tested almost 2 times. So I believe that if the stock breaks this 1400 mark, it could drift another 40 to 45 rupees lower from those levels. 1360 approximately is where I've placed the targets for Chola Finance for a fresh short below that 1400 mark.
Okay, that's a strategy on Chola Finance. Soumya, how are the numbers for Biocon?
For Biocon, pretty much in line with the expectations. PAT was up by over 63.9% on a yearly basis. Well, this was on account of strong growth in biologics and research verticals. The revenue saw an uptick of 30.7%. EBITDA and margins both were pretty much in line. The margins improved from 19.9% to 26.4% for the quarter gone by. Stock, however, not reacting much, up by over 0.15%.
Okay, just 0.1% higher for Bio. Motherson Sumi, Swati, along with the rest of the auto space, auto ancillary names, and more particularly, Motherson Sumi has really been coming under pressure. Your strategy here?
Yes, Mubina, from last one we are seeing that the Motherson Sumi is just facing a very strong resistance of 200-day moving average. It's not surpassing that level only. So overall the view is negative on this particular counter. Also the fact that it's on the intraday charts, we are seeing that it's just performing in that pattern of the low top, low bottom, which gives the indications that the selling pressure is likely to be come and it's likely to be continued in the future also. As of now, the cluster support lies at 144, 145 levels. If it's break that level, then I believe downside we can see up to a 135, 130 odd levels. So one can take a short positions below 145 levels, keep a stop loss of a 150 for immediate target of a 135.
Okay, Motherson Sumi down 1.8%. Rallis India as well is declining after a set of numbers that has really missed the mark, and how revenue has declined 8.5%. Profits have tanked 93% on account of the significant compression witnessed in the consolidated margins, and a 700 basis points dip over there. So from 9.4% to just 2%. It's really been a disappointing set, and it's no wonder Rallis is declining. On the other hand, however, we are seeing a very positive reaction come by on an MCX. Soumya, how are the numbers and what do the management have to say?
Well, talking about the numbers in MCX for Q4 FY19, the profits surged by over 78% due to a jump in other incomes. The revenue was up by over 12% on a year-on-year basis. The EBITDA was up by over 10%, while the margin saw some bit of contraction. It was down from 32.5% to 31.8%, while EBITDA margin declined due to in-product license fee. In fact, MCX is also in focus for asset management expects approval for commodity indices in SEBI's next board meeting. So the stock is reacting to the entire updates coming in from the company, so up by over 4%.
All right, so that's MCX. Moving on, a stock that's declining today in trade. We don't talk about it very often, but the move that we saw, especially in the US equity markets, it does make it worth meriting a mention. So 3M is a stock we are talking about. Industrials and healthcare is the key sectors that it is in. Now 3M company, that's 3M USA, has posted the biggest one-day decline yesterday in 30 years after the company missed the profit and revenue expectations and also slashed 2,000 jobs. The concomitant effect is seen on 3M India, which is down 4%. Let's see how things shape up for 3M, especially after it has had to slash 2,000 jobs. It certainly does put the prospects in a very weak footing for the company. Well, continuing with the countdown of the movers and shakers, and here's another news, another result that we are expecting of Hero MotoCorp. Karanya Rao joins us with the preview of what we can expect. Karanya, weak numbers?
Well, it's been a very tough quarter, whether it's two-wheelers or passenger vehicle companies. Talking about Hero Moto, they saw an 11% degrowth on a year-on-year basis in Q4, and that's clearly likely to reflect in their performance as well. If you look at the revenue, we're expecting a decline of 9 to 10%. Profits are seen, declining about 25%, coming in at 730 crore rupees. We're expecting a decline of 23.5% as far as the EBITDA performance is concerned. And margins also, there's no surprise seen there given how much the discounts were doled out in the quarter gone by to clear out the inventory by all the players. Hero is no different. We're expecting margins at 13.5% versus 16% YOY. What exactly happened as far as the margin performance is concerned? Like I said, discounting was the key dampener. Apart from that, there was high commodity costs, very weak demand. Like all other OEMs, Hero is likely to be a victim of that. As far as the key monitorables is concerned, one needs to get an update on the demand trend in both rural and urban markets, level of inventory in the system, new product launches, and the timeline outlook on exports is also something to watch out for.
All right, more result reactions coming in this time around from SBI Life. The quarter four numbers were okay. We had a net premium growth of 23% at 11,333 crores, and the profits jumped 20% at 458 crore rupees. Deutsche Bank has maintained a buy over year, as the company has said that they are confident of growing the protection business faster than the APE. Stock price higher by 3.5%. Kunal, we've been flagging off ONGC for some time now. This is one stock that was relatively a little more resilient when Brent kept going higher. Your view here?
So yes, Mubina, and when you see volume pick up, after a steady upside and a breakout of multi-week consolidations, you generally expect that there's a new participation, new interest which has emerged into the stock. Now, post that breakout, post that strong volume pattern, the stock has been sideways for the last 2 or 3 trading sessions. I believe that should be taken as a positive reading for the stock price charts. And when you expect the stock to consolidate and the volumes to ebb off, I'm expecting that the stock should break out on the upside. So ONGC remains to be, I believe, a strong buy, maybe at current levels. And I think if the stock offers any sort of 2 or 3% dips till 163, 165 levels. So I think that's a good buy zone for ONGC for a target of almost 180 plus.
All right, that's ONGC. Soumya, Aurobindo Pharma as well is continuing to go higher in trade today as well.
In fact, Mubina's stock has been gaining for the past 3 sessions. Over the last 3 days, the stock has seen a gain of over more than 5%. Today itself, it's gaining by over 4% on back of this Aurobindo note by Citi, wherein they are maintaining a buy stance on Aurobindo with a target price of 1,000 per share. Well, they add that Sandoz deal closure is a major catalyst when it comes to Aurobindo Pharma, and they say that there are added comforts on Aurobindo's post-pro forma numbers. So the stock is seeing a good reaction out here, gaining by over 4%.
All right, 4% higher for Aurobindo Pharma. Swati, we are seeing the metal space really bounce back today, and in particular steel stocks, perhaps as a result of the move seen on Tata Steel. Your view on SAIL?
SAIL, as of now, my view is on a sideways basis, because from the last few trading sessions we are witnessing that it just trading within the range of 55 rupees to 58, 60 odd levels. So as of now, it is got stuck into the range. Once it manages to give a breakout of 60 levels, then we might see some momentum on upside towards 62 to 65 levels. Whereas as I said, 55 is the very strong support level. So as of now, those who are having any long positions can definitely hold on with a stop loss of 55 rupees on a downside.
Okay, that's SAIL 1.5% higher. CG Power, meantime, here's a very interesting transaction that has actually transpired, and it involves Sunil Bharti Mittal of Bharti Airtel, which has actually purchased over 44 lakh shares in the company. That's almost a 6% stake being purchased, and he has checked in via a series of acquisitions, series of market deals from March in the CG Power, which is, of course, do you remember Gautam Thapar's Avanta Group company, where lenders, of course, have recently revoked the pledge shares of the promoter. So the Bharti Airtel chief has bought shares, by the way, in his personal capacity. Price is around 150 odd crore rupees. That's an interesting transaction, keeping the stock price as well active in trade. Kunal, MRF, you're witnessing some weakness in the stock price?
Space is going through a big selling spree, Mubina, because there was a phase of a short-term rally, but those rallies were sold into quite easily, and the stocks have now come back to hit their previous swing lows. Case in point, MRF, which has been one of the few favorites amongst the HNIs and the ultra HNIs. So I believe that the stock is showing signs of weakness. In terms of pure chart patterns, I believe there could be another 1,000 point odd which could be shaved off into the stock price, and a strong case could be built that the stock could hit its multi-month swing lows as well.
All right, well, with that, we're out of time on this edition of the show. So thanks to all of you for joining in. Swati, to you as well for sharing your technical strategies. We'll wrap it up. Coming up next is Market Fatafat.